Hello, I'm Tony, and today we are trying to get to Mars and make some money and not get caught in the explosion because Earth is about to explode in Desert Child, a game free from Prime Gaming until the end of December 2022. The game uses what I call pixely art, which others call 8-bit, which brings with it a particular style to the overall look of this game. This stylistic element is also backed up by some really great music. I particularly enjoyed the funky tune when you're wandering around Earth or Mars. Talking about wandering around, let's talk about the gameplay. It's split between racing and your time on whatever planet you're on. The racing is against one opponent, or none, with a bunch of TVs coming at you, some of which shoot you, some of which just kind of bob around. There are hazards like cacti and walls to avoid, items to pick up like money and bike parts, and your aim in the race is to shoot the TVs, collect as much money as you can, whatever items you can find, and of course, beat your opponent. You have limited ammo and limited boosts which automatically recharge. The ammo has to be recharged once it's run out by boosting up to a supply truck at the bottom of the screen. Once the race is over, you get rewarded according to the number of TVs destroyed, with bonuses for ones that weren't shot, how long you were in the lead, and how little damage you took. The ranking determines your reward in terms of cash, and it might determine what bike part you get awarded. I'm not too sure about that. Once you finish the race, you need to deal with you and your bike. As you race, you might get your bike damaged, so you'll need to spend money to repair it. You also need to repair yourself, though that takes the form of eating food. You have hunger and bike damage levels, so you know how urgent these things are, and you know how much you need to spend to repair either 20% say, or all of the bike. The bike does need a little bit more love though, in the form of collecting parts for it that improve its performance. For example, one upgrade increases your money gain in a race, or maybe an ad that gives you a discount on food. Rather than restrict the number of parts you can have, the developers chosen to make it a little bit more of a puzzle. You have an area to put upgrades in, and you need to link them via power cells, which you collect via races or buying them. Fitting them in is not straightforward, so you really need to figure out what parts are important to you, and also which parts fit together. Once you're on Mars, which doesn't take long, you basically need to get to $500 on Earth, which should only take a few races. There are a myriad of different areas that interlink in what it was initially an extremely confusing way. I'm not sure why it was done this way. As you walk through these areas, a square appears to indicate a point of interest, which you can then interact with. There's lots of things this can be, maybe a shop selling food or bike parts, though typically not both. You don't want to get them confused. Your guns do not work well if you link up some noodles to your bike. There's other bikes around which you can pilfer for bike parts via a little timed minigame. And there's another place that gives you an option to pay for protection from the police if you do get in trouble. There's also a bunch of money making opportunities, from throwing a race to delivering pizza, all of which take place in the form of a race, which is basically the same race with very slightly different objectives. Okay, that's basically the game. So what it comes down to is running all of these races in order to make a bunch of money, to upgrade your bike, keep yourself fed, and get to the Grand Prix, which is of course another race. Now this game didn't work for me at all, unfortunately. The racing part really didn't grab me. It's very simple, and after only about an hour of play I'm kind of done with it. The non-racing part of the game doesn't add that much to it for me, and the look of the pixely graphics hits my old man anti-nostalgic feelings for the games of my youth. Looking at reviews, I can see that the style really works for others. It just doesn't hit for me, and there isn't too much more to the game than this. The music is great though. This very much feels like a solo indie developer, so I totally understand the use of pixely graphics and the lack of depth, I guess, the lack of things to do. It feels like a game with a really cool vision of what it was going to be, but without the budget to get there. Hopefully they get the opportunity to work with a bit more cash and realise their ideas, because there's some here that could really work. What is here though is a loop of racing in various forms, which are fundamentally the same. You fix your bike, you eat, and then you repeat. It just doesn't appeal to me, because I'm not enjoying the racing. One thing to note for the game is that there is a bit of swearing in there, so may not be suitable for children. Unfortunately, it's not recommended from me. There just isn't enough here. Okay, that's all. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Goodbye.